Massenomics. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear. All right, guys, we're back in the studio again here. You heard from us last week, but we actually haven't podcasted in almost
6 months.
I can't it was 2015.
It's been a few.
I'm trying to think of what. So the last episode would have been the Sean's keto diet. That was without Tanner. That was episode 52. This is 53, but since we technically, I think, dumped 2 episodes on launch day, this is our 1-year anniversary episode.
Oh, yeah.
Sans the celebratory beers.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's what's up. In my very dirty glass, by the way. I have to take that one up with the wife. Anyway, so we just got back from what's the title of this meet?
USAPL South Dakota State Championship Powerlifting Meet.
Yep.
There we go. So we just got back. That meet was yesterday. Tommy competed.
Sure did.
Tanner and I did not.
Sure didn't.
Sure didn't. Tanner was busy slanging nose torque and slapping back.
I was the nose torque man. Nobody slanged more nose torque than I did.
No one.
I also were you giving out nose torque to people that weren't Massenomics people also?
Yeah.
You were that guy.
Yeah. You were just like, anyone want any nose torque?
Yeah. Anyone want to hit?
I'll be your Huckleberry.
It's a fun job.
Yeah, Tanner actually was, short of being a judge, Tanner had pretty much posted up. It was the closest person to the stage. It was just leaning there, handing out nose torque all day.
I was like, we kind of know Gina, kind of know Jonah. We know
Jonah and kind of know Gino. And
like, I guess if anyone is going to tell me to move, they're probably going to be nice about it and just be like, don't be right there.
Yeah.
You're kind of messing up the view. But we had a wildly successful meet. By we, I mean Team Massenomics.
Team Massenomics. Mm-hmm. I'd say we can really use that term. Like, I mean, we had more of a team there than anyone else.
Yeah. We took a picture at the end, and it was a good group of people.
And that was missing some.
Yeah.
We went to eat at lunch, and there was over 10 people there that
weren't competing
and weren't even like a significant other of someone that was competing. Yeah. So that's kind of rare at a like. You don't have a lot of team support usually.
No.
Yeah.
Like that.
Before we go much further with it, we want to make sure we thank Jonah Leo, friend of the podcast, for putting on what has to be as good of a powerlifting meet as can be.
I can't imagine anything being better than that. The only way it could be better is if there's less people, so it'd go faster. But you can't ask for anything more than that.
The bar was set really high with that one.
Yeah, it was.
And no offense to any other powerlifting meets or anything like that in the state, but like there's a lot of meets go on that are held in like maybe a YMCA gymnasium, and it's just a totally different feel than in this space here where it was legit. Jonah had like every base covered. They sold beer.
Yeah.
Which fortunately
the best kept secret for the first 4 hours.
Fortunately for everybody in the arena, we didn't find that out until about 2 p.m. Otherwise, it would have been a totally different situation. But, they had just everything. Really nice seating. They had a great platform. They had the great Gino announcing everything.
That really makes a difference, too.
Oh, absolutely. Between that and the music, it was like an entertaining... Even if it's not something you're into, there was at least an entertainment value to it, whereas your traditional powerlifting meet, if you don't know anybody and you don't know what's going on, I could see how people get zoned out in a hurry.
Yeah. And it was, he even had back in the corner, did you guys notice that? There was like a kids area. You probably
no, I didn't even notice, no.
In the back corner,
my kid was there, and they had like
a toy box and a whole bunch of shit strewn all over there, and it was just kind of an empty space that were like all of the kids could just run amok and play with the shit and string it out all over, which is good because in a situation like that, there's bound to be people to bring kids, and there's no way the kids aren't going to hate it. Mm-hmm. Like you can't expect. Jack did really well, actually sitting in the chairs and watching
insanely
it and just hanging out.
I think it's just he's been to so many of those. It's just like he knows the
what he's in
drill.
for.
You know, he's like not going to complain about it. He knows he's literally going to be there the entire day.
He's like, I'm just gonna be here fucking forever.
and he knows all of the Massenomics guys lifting.
Yeah.
You know, so he actually.
He
knows the lifts,
Yeah.
so, you know, he knows it's like squat, bench, and deadlift even, and he knows all the guys, so he kind of cheers for them sometimes too. And,
Come on, Larry.
and he cheers against the not Massenomics guys. So he's like, he'll ask like, are they from Massenomics? And I'll say no, and he's like, I don't want them to do good. Like, yeah, me either.
But yeah, they did a bang up job and put on a really, really great meet. As a spectator only, it was, I would say, as good as can be. Even like the Arnold. I mean, they did have the USAPL on the Rogue Strength stage there, which was a nice stage. Mm-hmm. But for real, we had more seating here than they did even at that spot.
Definitely.
And we definitely had more seating there than they do normally at the USAPL stuff at the Arnold. And way more space and a way nicer setup, and I mean, it was as good as it possibly could have been.
Very nice venue too.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, it not being in like an old
Not
gym.
being in like or like a Motel 6,
Yeah,
Right.
or even just an old convention center. Somewhere,
Right,
you know, it
right.
could be any place like that. And yeah, it was.
You know, because even the eight, we're kind of spoiled in South Dakota at this point. Like you would expect that in South Dakota, that's all we would have is, hanging out in the ratty old Motel 6.
Yeah.
But between the APF meet that they have annually and this one, like you're not going to go to a lot of ones that are run that much better than that.
No, we got two like really, really well run.
Yeah.
The other fortunate thing with this one is that we do happen to have, I would say Jonah is a bit of the USAPL's golden boy a little bit with being twice world bench press champion. So he just happens to live in South Dakota, which gives us, because if he doesn't live in South Dakota, this doesn't happen. That event isn't like that.
Yeah, not to that level. Or anything.
And there's no way Gino's there.
No, I'm sure not.
And the difference between having Gino at a meet and having somebody who just goes like, Larry shook, bars loaded, and that's it. Where instead you've got Gino going, Larry, the legend, shook. He's not shucking around. He had kind of hammed up Larry's name a little bit anyways and done some really fun shuck puns throughout the course of the...
On top of just repeating his name over and
just
over and
because
over.
it was so great.
Shook.
Is it shook? Is it shook?
And
Is
the
it
other thing,
shook?
the other thing we liked was it wasn't just Larry, it was Larry.
So-
over and over again.
So about Larry's second bench attempt, I went over there and I jumped in Gino's ear and I said, Gino, Larry shook. Last name is pronounced Legend. And Gino looks at me and he goes, "Are you fucking serious?"
I could read your lips. I saw you do it, and I could read his. Like he thought, like it
He
is
goes-
seriously.
he
Like,
goes,
I'm getting
"Are
it
you
wrong.
Serious? He's
Yeah.
like, how could I miss by that much?
Yeah.
and I go, he goes, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Of course I'm not serious." And he goes, "But can I say it?" I was like, "Absolutely." And so then from then on, like even when he came out and was announcing Larry at the, giving out the awards and shit, he was like, "Larry Legend," which was awesome. We did have a bit down at the gym here where somebody had posted. We started writing on the board just senseless nicknames for Larry.
I just think it started. Someone wrote like Larry the Legend on the thing, and then someone just had to let everything snowball out of
So
control.
it kept going on. So we have Larry Legend Shook, which is obviously we've called him Larry Legend as he's a Masters. He's been around a while now. This is his first foray into the Masters division.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep. First year.
So then it evolved. So people just started writing, and if you can see this on my phone, at least this is on the whiteboard down at the gym, and just every day or two, someone would add like a Larry nickname, and so I'm gonna go through all these for you. We have Larry the Frisco Kid Shuck. We have Larry the San Francisco Treat Shuck. One of my personal favorites, Larry Lairbud Shuck. that one goes for Ryan. Larry Dwayne the Rock Johnson Shuck. Larry the Iceman Shuck. Larry the Midnight Special Shuck. Larry the Cuddle Monster Shuck. Larry, that's the way I roll, shook. Larry, the heartbreak kid, shook. Larry shook me all night long. Larry, Dirty Sanchez, shook. And my personal favorite, Larry, the Snake Roberts, shook. And my favorite thing about this, and I don't know if this is going to show up on video if you can see it, was it, I don't know who wrote all of these. I know I wrote the Snake Roberts.
But they're all in handwriting that looks like a 3-year-old.
The Snake Roberts is the only one that I wrote, and I am looking at all of these, and I could be convinced that I wrote every one of them.
Yeah, like everyone's handwriting is equally shit.
The handwriting is so bad on all of these.
I think it's like once you're writing on a whiteboard, everyone defaults to the same handwriting, which is just not good.
Just like
for real, if you just sampled one of them and you were like, Tyler, did you write Larry Dwayne The Rock Johnson? And I'd be like, it sure looks like it. But so Gino got in on the Larry jokes, which I loved.
The fun part with that being Larry is just his reaction to all that stuff. He's just kind of like, huh,
it's like that's pretty awesome.
Like if it was anyone else, that wouldn't be as cool. And it's also funny how people can just like automatically pick up on that with him. Like Gino has never seen him before, and he just knows like, oh, I should probably kind of like this guy's.
We're gonna jazz up this guy's day.
Yeah, no one's ever like, oh, I hope that Larry doesn't do very well.
Yeah, and
because then by the end of it, everybody was like, fucking Larry.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, Larry gets another fist bump. Like Larry's getting another high five.
Everybody's high fiving Larry all day.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh yeah, you probably got to pull over like 5:30 to get a fist bump, which everyone was, and then like someone else does it, and then no fist bump for them. So it's just the Larry rules.
But I would say Gino is as much of a legend as there probably is in powerlifting, as much as there is lifters that are.
Yeah. I mean, watching it yesterday, seeing someone basically have to MC an event for like close to 12 hours, you realize like how hard that is to do. And I suppose once you do a few, you get used to the pacing and the routine, but I mean, he does a great job of keeping it moving.
Was he around there during like rules meeting and stuff? Had you seen him?
I saw him kind of in the background, but he didn't make his presence really known until the thing started. But just to start it off, with squats, he was getting people fired up right off the bat. Like
that's what was crazy.
And it's 8 in the morning or whatever.
and I think generally that bench is maybe a little bit less interesting to watch anyways. There's a bit of a lull mid afternoon where maybe I'm not going to call Gino out on it, but maybe Gino was like, yeah, lift is good.
Turn it down
on the bench. I turn it down. But for real, like I phone in 80% of my work day. So like, but so that's totally acceptable as far as I'm concerned. But when we got there, we had missed just the very first flight of squats, I think. And we got there, and immediately I was like, Jesus Christ, Gino's bringing the fucking heat. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and he's like fucking flipping microphones and fucking strutting around up there. And
just got the flip down
just
good, too.
Running shit.
It's like axle rolls on the mic.
I also saw a picture. Jonah had posted a picture on Facebook of Gino and a couple other guys, and they were like out getting dinner. So I saw Gino in like regular clothes, and I have no idea. I was like, ah, fuck! It almost ruined. It's like
I was gonna say
it's like seeing Santa Claus in like a pair of
I don't know if I
khakis.
want to see that ever. Like,
I was like, never show me that again, Gino. Like you have to wear your pirate outfit when you get on your airplane and you fly back to wherever it is.
I actually kind of assumed he did do that though.
Like wore that all the time.
Like I don't think that'd be weird if people were like, "What's with the outfit?" And you're like, "I'm an announcer." I think people would be like, "Okay," and they just give you a free pass.
I saw a guy when I was flying one time who wore like a green suit with a hat, but the suit itself was made of like fucking glitter. Practically, like it was super shiny, like fucking shit all over it, just the shiniest, jazziest, bright green suit. And he had like a weird handlebar mustache, and he's just fucking sitting there waiting to board a plane. And it was the point where I was like, I don't even want to ask this guy about it, because whatever his answer is, I fucking don't care.
Yeah.
And it's he probably has an explanation that's going to justify this suit, but I don't want to fucking know it. And I'm sure that's what poor Gino would run into if he had his pirate outfit. But it was an awesome event. Our guys totally crushed it. Tommy went 9 for 9.
Yeah, it's going into it, This would be my third meet, and going into it, the last 2 meets I had done, I was 7 for 9. I'd missed my last squat, missed my last bench in both of those meets, and I had 2 goals. I really wanted a 1350 total. I also really wanted to go 9 for 9, but 1350 was the big one I was after, and the way it worked out is it kind of all came together. I got 9 for 9 and a 1362 or 3. I can't even remember now. 1360 something. Maybe 7. I don't know. 7. Okay.
1367.
Yeah. So it was a good day. And just getting there from the start, it was really well organized. You kind of got through everything. There was never really a feeling of chaos that can sometimes go with these things. And once the day started, it was a little different for me being in the 4th flight. The past years I've been a little lighter, so a lot of times I've been in one of the first flights or two where you show up and you basically get to warm up almost right away. So that kind of helps with the butterflies a little bit. You don't have that time your time to sit and think is like getting up in the morning before you go, because after that it's just go. But here it's kind of you rush to get your equipment checked, you weigh in, and then it's like nothing for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Do you think it feels a little cooler at all to go like?
Well, it is fun to go later than that towards the end, because it's like you're
because people are paying attention.
Yeah, you're with the big people, and that's kind of like it feels more special that way with all the people handling heavier weights typically, not always, but it just feels
generally heavier.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a little bigger deal. But right away it was cool going in, seeing the setup, the lighting. That's something that most people might not even take into account or for a factor.
I also think it was on accident.
No, I talked.
Did he have some stuff? Because I was looking at the way the lighting was, like the way the light fixtures were, and I was just like, oh well, they didn't like move any light fixtures.
Yeah, no, I talked to Jonah about it, because when we got there right away in the morning, all the lights were turned on, and I was just thinking like, man, this would be way cooler if it was like more of a spotlight type thing on the lifters, or if the lights were dimmed in some way. And then after we weighed in, we went back to our hotel and ate real quick, came back, and it was that setup. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah. And so I'm like, Jonah, like the lighting, this is sweet how you guys did it. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I figured we just dimmed the middle row and whatever they did to kind of illuminate just where the lifters were at.
Well, no, I think dimming the middle row of like the high white lights was all they did.
Yeah. He said he wanted to leave it on the sides where people were warming up, and then the sides where the concessions
were. That was
it
though. There was no spotlight though. Like the platform was just still kind of in the middle, and they still had these regular softer lights that were out there. But yeah, it ended up turning out to where it was just great. The platform was right there, was really well lit up. Videos were great. I mean, it was pretty legit.
Yeah, the lighting looked really professional, like when you're going out there.
But it was more, I would say it's intentional in that the crowd wasn't super lit like it would have been if everything else was on. But I think it was kind of accidental that it turned out that awesome.
Yeah.
How about the warm-up equipment?
So yeah, and that was the other thing, like really obvious right away, is when you walk in and there's like 5 ER racks available for warm-up. Also something I'm not using. As far as I know, I've never even used an ER rack or seen one in person besides at the Arnold. So the fact that there was 5 of them there, this is something, I don't think I would know about an ER rack at all unless talking to Tanner, kind of through the gym equipment buying process. And we've talked about like the Texas Power Rack or
Systems.
Yeah, the Texas Strength, their rack, and then the ER rack, and supposedly the ER rack is so much nicer. And so I was kind of paying attention to that a little bit too.
$1,000 more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's some money associated with it, but it is a very nice rack. So it was cool to use those. I think it was all basically Titan bars back there, which I don't know if I'd consider myself a fan of the Titan bar.
Why is that?
It wasn't too obvious until we got to deadlifts, like squat, whatever. I mean, as long as the bar is total garbage, you're fine. And then bench, I didn't really notice much there. But even in deadlifts, the knurling on it was so much finer. Like, didn't really have much bite to it at all. To the point where 315 even felt like, where's the knurling at on this thing? And at first I thought it was just me, and I think I made a comment to Corey, and he had the exact same.
Corey said after his second deadlift, he's like, man, it feels like the knurling is so fine, or like I can't feel any knurling on it compared to our a Texas Power Bar.
Yeah, and even when I've never been going for like a heavy single and locked it out at the top and thought grip wasn't that's never in my mind been a thing, is to think of the grip.
You're gonna lose it at the top.
And after my second attempt on deadlift at 535, I think, I remember right before I got the down command thinking this thing doesn't feel like it's in here that well. And all I could account that to was just the fact that the knurling isn't aggressive on those bars. But
I would say we had one lifter who, not one of our guys, but we did have one lifter who did just lose a deadlift at the top. Did you see that?
No.
You may not have noticed it. He had got it up, completely locked out, and then
It slipped.
grip went. That was it. Like he was fully locked out too. Like the down command may have happened at the moment that he came right out of his hand. So once it come out of his hand, it spit him out the back though.
yeah.
And it did. I mean, grip just went out.
Yeah.
What about was that bar pretty stiff?
Yeah, I mean, I think stiffness is pretty uniform across
any
all
more
those, yeah.
than more or less than anything you're used to.
I guess I don't know it well enough to know if it wasn't a deadlift bar, so
yeah,
you know
right.
at a certain point a stiff bar is a stiff bar, and so but yeah, I mean you really can't complain about it too much either because the whole warm up area was awesome. You had like a nice
Where does
like
Jonah
pad.
get all of those racks?
that's
too?
what I wanna know.
Between the
wanna know.
6, that's $15,000 worth of ER racks.
And I would have never
that's
guessed.
what I'm wondering is because Jonah also trains kind of in a small space that's by himself mostly. So I'm guessing he's got one.
And he's got about $2,000 or $3,000 worth of bars there.
Yeah.
And
You know,
if
he's
someone
got-
were to tell me to like take a guess for like how many ER racks exist in the state of South Dakota, my guess would have been like
less
2.
less
Yeah.
than what was there.
So I don't know where they came from. It's awesome that they managed to pull them all together, but yeah, no idea who's stashing these things away.
They were nice though. I had to go fiddle with, because
Yeah.
I look at that stuff with the gym, always checking that out, and I was like, oh yeah, these are really
Legit.
nice. That
Yeah.
I mean, still really expensive,
Wouldn't
but really
spend the money on it.
it's
probably.
really nice though. It's really cool.
One thing I thought was interesting too, and this is really getting into like the finer points of equipment here, but after using our bench in the gym, the nice Elite FTS
Yeah,
bench,
yeah.
the spotter stands on that come way back behind the person's head. On the ER rack,
They're
they
rattled, yeah.
start at the back of the headrest and come in towards the bench.
Yeah.
So when you're standing giving someone a lift off, you really are straddling the top of their head.
Yeah.
Which is a little different than what I'm used to with that.
So ours,
Ours is back.
Yeah, it's back more. So like when
Like-
someone needs a lift off, you can still technically stand behind them
Yeah.
and give the lift off. With this, you are standing.
It's
The
teabag
platforms
only.
are on.
It's
Yeah,
teabag
the
it is
platforms are
teabag
on the
only.
side of each side of the bench.
yeah, they
They're not
straddle the
even
bench.
behind.
No,
Gotcha.
yeah, they don't start until like even with the bench going forward.
What about for you guys? Me having never done a powerlifting meet, what is inconsistencies or anything like that with the lift off? Does that get?
I didn't
Have you
notice
guys
it at
ever
all.
experienced that?
As long as someone isn't, when it comes to lift offs, the biggest thing is always that you're not overpowered. Like the lift off
much,
isn't doing
yeah.
too much to the point where you're gonna kind of undo what the person has done in their
Right.
setup. I guess
you mean that they are like
Less is more for me.
Yeah. So you let's go over this. So me, I haven't done a whole lot of powerlifting. I maybe haven't done a whole lot of spotting, a bunch of lift offing. If I'm benching, I would say half of my bench sessions are just me.
Yeah.
So for a lift off, what do you want? Do you want somebody to just get there and just give just enough so you don't gotta
Basically, no upward movement
yeah,
whatsoever.
they're basically almost just getting the
guiding it
moving.
out.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
helping you move it.
helping it up, and
barely
helping it forward?
like just enough clearance to pull it out.
Yeah.
But like when people, if you're going for a heavy bench and people like go like this, like this thing,
It
that
completely-
completely,
almost
then you
pulls
go
you
like
apart.
whoop,
It completely
and then
pulls
you-
your shoulders
yeah.
out because in a regular bench or ideally setting up for like a competition style, your shoulder blade should be retracted to the point where that is limiting the range of motion a little bit. So when someone pulls it farther than what you have your shoulder blades at, you have to accommodate by bringing your shoulders out with it, and now all of a sudden you've lost all your positioning. So
Gotcha.
the spotters did a great job. There was never a point where I felt like
I've probably been a bad bench spotter my entire life.
you probably have been, Tyler.
Well, because what I do, and not that I do it often,
Is deadlift
Because if
it
anyone
into their
asks me for a
hands?
spot, I'm like, man, don't be a bitch. No, but I have probably been that guy where I've been like, I'll grab it and I'll be like, well, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna fucking
Yeah.
over. So,
Well, but
good
like
tips.
if the person lifting is not someone that benches like a power lifter, they're not gonna be set back like that anyways. They're probably just gonna be like this, so
Yeah.
it really wouldn't affect. But like if you're really tucked with your shoulder blades retracted and everything, like to go like this is like completely
Is a big
gets you
problem.
out of it.
oh yeah, for sure.
What about now at that APF meet? You could have your own liftoff guy.
Yes. Yep. And USAPL, you can't. I would say this. So I've done like 12 meet competition benches, and the liftoff has never even been a thought to me. So I've done APF and USAPL both, and like they do a good job of getting someone in there that knows what they're doing. Like I've always been like, well, I guess. Like I've never had one where I'm like, oh, that kind of messes me up.
And you're supposed to when you go out, because some people don't train with a partner, so they do their own liftoffs. They don't ever need anything, and so they tell you that when you go out there, if you need a liftoff, tell them I go on 3, I go on whatever your cadence is, so the spotter knows. And the first one, I was pretty fired up going out there. I didn't say anything, and I just remember walking out. My timing, they said they were strict about the 1 minute rule with this. I never saw anyone get dinged for it because I think everyone made it. But I remember going out and hearing like 20 seconds left or something and thinking like, oh, I got to get moving, and just kind of being in the zone. I went straight to the bench, and I remember digging my shoulders in thinking, I didn't say I want to lift off on this. And for a split second panicking in my brain, I was just going to start counting and hope the guy showed up. And right when I started to think that, he just magically showed up anyways. And so that really saved me some possible issues there.
I think the default thought is that you're gonna want to lift off.
It's pretty rare that
I would say at that point, like when you're doing basically a max effort bench, be like, how about you just tell me if you want me to fuck off and move off this platform. But
I guess at this year at the APF meet, I told them I do not want lift off.
Oh,
really?
But
I wasn't benching. I just went and did one bench.
You were just being polite.
Yeah. No. I wasn't doing any real weight. And I didn't want to mess up my shoulder with a lift off. So I just said I don't want one, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. Because it's pretty rare that anyone says.
What you should have done is you should have just walked up, sat down on the bench, and looked back and be like, I don't need to lift off. And you just pop each pec one at a time, lay back down. So Tommy, you were 9 for 9.
A PR all-time PR squat.
Yeah. So as far as the day for me, to me, my goal with this really, I said that was at 1350 total, but was to really going into it like just know who I am, know what I can do. It's really easy to kind of like lie to yourself or play it up like you're magically going to show up and hit big PRs. Like I've had this perfect peak and this PR is going to be, I just got to show up. It's going to be there. Like
I'm just going to blow everything up.
And that's the thing with powerlifting is you got to be really honest with yourself. You got to be real with yourself. And I kind of talked to Tanner about this is I kind of had this realization with my bench. I had been using that Elite FTS bench in the gym, which it's
14-inch wide.
It's a little wider pad. It's super grippy. And for whatever reason, after using that thing for, I don't know, what we had it 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
I felt like I really, really knew how to get the most out of that bench. And I had done they were touch and go, a very slow touch and go, but I had done multiple 340 reps on there. I've done pause 330s, and it was never an issue. And then all of a sudden, it's like, the meet's coming up in like 3 weeks. Maybe I'll try this other bench. And my bench went down instantly. And rather than be like, well, I'm doing 330 no matter what, I had to kind of readjust my game plan. And so, if I just had this number made up in my head and just said, I'm just doing it, bench or the whole day would have looked a lot different. But, if you can be honest with yourself and be real with yourself, you're going to have a much better day.
And because you did that, so you still hit a good bench. You hit a 320-pound bench, so maybe 10 pounds less than what you were thinking before.
Yep.
But because you did that, it didn't cost you, say, 30 pounds or something, ridiculous,
Yeah, and bench is the one where it maybe didn't go completely how I had it in my head. But that's the same thing, too, of, you never know how things are going to go until you're there the day of the meet. Like, you can't get so ingrained in your plan that you can't, call an audible.
But, you made the adjustment on the fly. Which...
Yeah, I did my first attempt, and for whatever reason, I said maybe it was a mixture of, I said I came out a little late. I forgot to tell that guy 3, but my first attempt, I did it, and right away I knew something felt not right. It was like 300 pounds, which is never an issue for me. And even you said it. You're like, yeah, that didn't move too fast.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I was going to go for like 315, maybe even more on my second attempt. We jumped. I think we went to 308.
Yeah, 308.
Just thinking like, well, we'll just get what we can out of this. And my back was really tight, so mobility WOD master Corey came to the rescue with his lacrosse ball.
He had an entire fucking bag full of
I think we got to pause this.
We need to go into. This is a good story in itself. Here is
Corey brought
Well,
fucking everything, including things that were weights from the gym. Like you would think he brought everything from the gym that's not weights. Also brought weights.
Yeah, and this started. Corey kind of has the joke of being like mobility expert Corey or mobility wad Corey.
And he kind of is. Like,
yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah,
he puts more time than that than anyone.
We're definitely not saying that he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's the guy.
Yeah. And we were showing up, and Ryan goes, "Oh, do you think Corey brought all his mobility tools?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And it wasn't more than a few minutes into seeing Corey, he's like, "So I brought a lacrosse ball, I brought the foam roller, and I got the shoulder rock in my car too."
He
We're
brought
like,
the shoulder
and we're
rock.
like, "No, he didn't." He's like, "Yeah, it's in my car." Like, oh, okay. Like he really did bring all of the. I think he brought some bands too, maybe. He had all of it with him.
First off, that's how you know you're training at the right gym. When you can just take equipment from the gym, like, put it in your car, and take it 3 hours. Don't tell anybody until you get to there, and nobody's like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I'm like, oh yeah, him and Tanner probably planned it out. Like, yeah, you should really bring the shoulder rock. And I told Tanner, he's like, Corey took the shoulder rock. Like, you had no idea.
But I just thought it like I couldn't care less about that. But just like I'm like,
why did
God,
he
brought that?
Why did
Like,
he bring
that's crazy.
fucking...
But now that we also
crossover.
had the shoulder rock at the strongman competition. So it's kind of just a nice thing to have.
That is a nice thing to have.
Yeah, but tying it back to the mobility thing is or even just the having a game plan and kind of go in with the punches is after that first bench, my back was so tight, just knotting up. And I think, between being busy, you probably don't even get hydration the way you normally do on a meet day either. And Corey came to the rescue with his lacrosse ball. I really worked that knot between my first and second attempt. And I went out in the second one that felt great. And so I think we went from like 297 to 308 and then jumped it to like 319 on the third. And watching it, I'm like, that 319 looks how I wanted my second attempt to look. And I think
the
there was more there.
Looked much better than your opener.
Yeah.
Even at that point, like it moved away better than that first attempt.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean,
I
gave up a little there.
That's a matter of just being fluid with the day, though. Like it would be wonderful to come in and say you went 9 for 9 and you fucking PR'd everything.
Yeah. But it's never going to happen. Well, it might happen for some people, but that's rare.
Yeah.
But coming in and hitting every lift, you had to adapt and you to salvage your total,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's I think a huge part of the meet prep though is going into it and like being real with yourself. Is we have a deadlift bar in the gym. I could have been using a deadlift bar. I could have been using our really wide plates. And, in training, I might think that my deadlift is 20 to 30, maybe even 40 more pounds than what it actually is. But we switch it to like 8 weeks out, or it was probably about 2 months. Yeah, 2 months out. We switched to the stiff bar, and we were using all the metal plates every time too, just to emulate that meet day feel as much as possible. So there was no surprises when that day finally came.
Well, the goal of a powerlifting meet is to have the highest total possible. Like at the end of the day, like that is the number is the total. That's how you're compared against everyone else. And Wilkes you could look at too, but it's your total. So, and it's your total that day. Like it's not the total that you wish you could have or that you think you should get or anything like that.
Or the total that you've put together on your three best lifts over
right,
the course of 3 months.
It's what if you have to look at that day specifically and figure out, and go by what's the best you can do that day.
I do look at it this way too: is you're game planning for the whole day, and you're game planning for the meet and for 3 lifts. You don't go into a football game. You may put if you're game planning your football team, and you're going to say, well, to win this game, we're going to want to have more rushing yards than the other team. We're going to want to have more turnovers than the other team. We're going to want to have more passing yards than the other team, and we're going to then we're going to win. It's like that's wonderful, but if you come in and they outrush you. Well, you better fucking figure something out because what matters at the end of the day is the score on the
points,
board. And that's exactly what I think. Really, all of our guys did a really good job of salvaging the day first, and not that we had a bunch of missed lifts.
No,
but I think everybody had a really good idea on what to do for the day. One of the things I want to get to too is Ryan. Ryan had really, I would say, great day on the squat, great day on the bench.
Yep, a PR on squat
and PR on bench. Really,
I think. It was exactly where we wanted to be on bench.
Yeah, 260. Yeah.
Yep. Comes out. Ryan's deadlift is what he's been waiting for all day. Ryan's a deadlifting fucking phenom, so he was coming out to put up some big numbers. First deadlift. Do you remember what the weight was?
545.
Yeah, 545, which for Ryan is like picking up a Tic Tac off the floor. And Ryan did Well, here's what Ryan did. Ryan did what Larry did in the last meet, which we thought was kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Except Ryan did the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like
Big time.
Ryan pulled it and it was light. It went well. I think he was excited.
Very fast.
I think it almost went so fast. It surprised
It was
him.
so fast.
Got him
that
off balance.
He gets it all the way up to the top, and then like immediately
It, like,
just
throws him forward,
comes
yeah.
back forward because
Yeah.
he was just like boom.
Yeah.
And it threw him back forward, and then he knew he was fucked.
And then he was
so
all
then he
flustered.
so then he just like threw the bar down, and
Like,
then
not out of like, it wasn't like an angry, like, fuck.
It
no,
was
you
almost
know,
just like this whole
yeah.
situation's so wrong. I need to be out of here.
Yeah.
So he pulled it up and went forward, and you could tell he just dropped
like-
the bar, and then he went, oh fuck, I made it worse.
Yeah, like put his hands on his head.
And then, he just
shot out.
and then he's just like, I'm getting the fuck
I
out
gotta get out of here.
And
Embarrassing.
And so, having watched it, I was like, oh fuck, what does he do? What does he do? What does he do? And the last thing I wanted to see was have him come out and like try to hit that weight again.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know that you could do this, that you could miss a weight and still move up.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can
Is
just
that- is
never
that-
miss down. You can never move down.
Yep.
Ever.
But is that the way it is always?
Yeah.
In every
Yeah.
federation.
I know, like
everything.
at nationals this year, I think like
It's a common thing to
Yeah, I
happen.
think John Hatt got called for like depth on like his
Yeah.
second attempt at like 640, and he's just like, no, I got my third attempt, and
Yeah.
just moved up to his
Yeah.
third attempt.
In especially in single ply lifting or equipped lifting, it's very common. Like every meet, it happens all the time because of the depth reason. Because like people will blow it up their opener, and it'd be like 2 red lights because of depth,
be like,
and they're like,
no,
and they're like,
we're done.
it's not gonna
Yeah,
waste another.
I'll sort the
attempt.
depth
Yeah,
thing out with
yeah.
a better weight.
Right.
You know. So Ryan came out then. Second attempt. What did he put up? Second time was it
585
Yeah,
or whatever the
something
kilo
like that.
was.
584.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ryan come out, fucking nailed that. Just
Yeah.
hammered it. Exactly what he should have done. You know,
Yeah.
like the worst thing that you could do is come out and change your game plan there.
Yeah.
Like you could have come in. And, What could have happened there is he could have acknowledged that happened. He could have moved some things around and thought. But what you should have done with a thing like that, you hit the lift, you just missed some shit. Delete it.
Yeah.
Like act like it just didn't happen and just move on. And
The difference there is understanding the reason that you didn't get
Yeah.
the lift. Like it's different than your bench. You know, your first bench it was like, you know, didn't know the reason, but it's like, oh, it just kind of moves slower.
Yeah,
like it
things
looks
just weren't
slower.
feeling good.
Yeah, but like Ryan's deadlift, it's like he crushed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he just like did a silly thing at the end.
And
to cost him the
that all
lift.
goes right into like just being able to objectively look at the
Yeah,
situation and be
yeah.
like, did he miss it because the strength isn't there, or did he
Right.
miss it because it was just a mental thing and he can move on? And,
Yeah.
you know, that's part of it all too.
so he come out, nailed the second lift, and then third one came out with 605, 606.
606, yeah.
606, which is a 6-pound PR, all-time PR.
All-time PR.
Plus
100-pound meat PR.
100
So,
pound
well,
meat
90
PR.
pounds probably, something like that. Yeah.
But and now that one was a lift that he had to work for.
The first part, I was surprised.
It moved so fast off the floor.
Yeah, off the floor, even to about a couple inches past his knees, it was going really fast.
yeah.
And then things started to hang up, and I was at a point where I was just like, all I was thinking, I was like, just squeeze that fucker up.
Yeah.
But it's tempting there, especially because where he was at, which was mid thigh. Where that's the moment when you can just be like, hitch that
Yeah.
bitch up, and he did. He just ground that fucker out the last couple inches and nailed it.
The judging on the deadlift, like that was definitely a good lift and everything. Like it's just sometimes with the strictness, you see some of those like at the lockout where it's like even watching it there's some where I'm like I know that that's a good lift, but as I watch it, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if they're gonna catch any red
Yeah,
lights
yeah.
for
You
that.
don't know how the judges are going to call.
But
it.
I thought the judging on the deadlifting was people were getting the benefit of like. That was a good lift, but if it was a close, the lifters were getting the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
On squat, I think it was the opposite.
Maybe
where-
because it was early in the
yeah,
day.
yeah, and
you
like
know?
where there's
were they
on
calling
depth,
a decent amount of people on?
there was a lot of red lights. Like even if they were just getting one, or there was on squatting, there was a lot of red lights throughout the day. But not arguing against that either. But it like on those iffy calls on the squat, I think it was more going to red lights than white lights.
Yeah, if it was, if you were within that, like, say, 5%
yeah,
margin, you were getting red early in the day and you were
Yeah.
getting white late in the day.
Yeah.
But Ryan's lift was good, but it was such a fucking grind where, like, when he gets done, nobody claps until you see
it's
them
like,
lights.
yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
claps. You see this because you're like, that he works so fucking hard, and you're like, please be white, please be
Yeah.
white, and it pops up white, and I mean, he's totally saved his day,
Yeah.
saved his meat completely,
Yeah.
by just moving on from the first attempt, and then as well as you could have expected, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Well, especially if you're a deadlift guy, you do the whole rest of the meet, it went good, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But he's like, I really want to deadlift now, and then like to not do well on that and have it be the last one, you're kind of like, kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that'll mentally just throw people for a loop. Like if that's what you've been waiting all day for, and now it's
kind of like waiting for a sandbag carry at a strongman competition, dropping it right before the fucking finish line, and
2 feet before the finish
line,
line.
being too smoked to get it up and take 30 seconds to pick it up and carry it back across the finish line, and then losing first place by 3 seconds
because of that.
Only that, and that's the thing that you're definitely specialized in. And I don't know. I don't know anyone who that's happened to recently at a state strongman competition. But that would suck to be that person. And they would think about that every time that they try to go to sleep forever, that they could still be the strongest man in the state, but that they're not anymore because they dropped a bag 1 foot before the fucking line. Yeah, well, good thing that didn't happen to Ryan.
yeah.
Instead, it happened to some other chump with a beard that he shaved, and now he looks stupid. And his wife resents him every day. But anyway, so aside from my sad story, that we didn't even talk about that competition. I think we should just postpone that. We'll maybe discuss that next week. But fucking Larry,
They call him the legend for a reason.
Yeah. So Larry ended up in a very stacked weight division with Tommy.
Yeah, there was some.
Who all was in that weight? Do you know?
Tim Feathers.
Tim Feathers from the strongman competition. That was his first powerlifting meet.
South Dakota guy in charge of U.S. strongman.
Yeah.
So he was moving over into the powerlifting for the first time, and he did really well. Pulled a good deadlift, like 570 something, I think, in there. But like his third squat looked faster than most people's opener. He same with his bench press.
Yeah,
like he just.
Tim even said on his Instagram here this morning, he said he was like, I left at least 10 kilos on every fucking lift for sure.
Like he left like for sure over 50 pounds on the day, like 50 to 75 pounds.
Which is, I mean,
that's not a bad thing on your first meet.
You can train really well and you can be really strong, and that's all you can control during the year.
Yeah.
You come to the meet, weight selection, lift select, like all of that is the stuff that that's what comes with experience.
Yeah.
You know? So to miss on that, it's not like he wasn't as strong as he could be coming into this. Just some rough selection. But Tim was in that weight class. Who else?
So he finished fourth, right above you.
No.
Or you got...
I got fourth.
You got fourth. You got fifth, right below you, and Jake got third, right above you. Okay.
Yep.
And then Ty from Jackal's Gym got second.
Yep.
That kid, how old is he?
21.
Yeah.
Somewhere right in there.
Yeah, and he's strong.
Fucking
former. So was it in juniors or teen that he was? He finished second at Worlds.
Yeah, he was an IPF silver medalist for Worlds in one of those age groups. I
got to pee and it's an emergency. You guys carry on.
Yeah, it's at one of those age groups where he was the silver medalist and
in the entire world.
Yeah,
so that's kind of a big deal.
And it definitely shows because the kid can like squat and deadlift like.
What did he squat like?
I don't.
In between 550 and 600. Or
yeah,
something
it was high 500s. I thought the kilo conversion you start to lose track of. Yeah. So he put up some really solid numbers, but the legend is just something that people aren't ready for.
I think Larry totaled like 1455 or something like that.
And do you know what Larry's best total ever is?
It might have. Well, he's totaled more raw with wraps.
Yeah. So not counting that.
Yeah, I think maybe 1445. So I think he improved his USAPL total by 10 pounds.
Yeah.
At 40 years old.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's done probably 10 plus powerlifting meets, and he's still he's still
getting the hang of it.
Yeah. he's still getting it figured out. But so he had a national qualifying total. In Masters, of course, but then in the Open, he did too by quite a margin too. Mm-hmm. And actually, Corey, his third deadlift attempt put him exactly at national qualifying total. That's why he took that attempt. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. I mean, not everyone does that.
Yeah,
and he got fifth in his. He got fifth place in his weight class. So all five of those guys.
Yeah.
Qualified.
So we talk about how often it is where like you'll just get a gold medal.
Yeah, this was not the case in the 205 and the 231 or 105 kilogram weight class and the 183.
Yeah.
There was no default
Medals
no
awarded.
default gold for sure. There wasn't even there was enough people in the flights that they were placing 5, and people were doing pretty good and not getting
Well, that's
anything.
the deal. Like, I was surprised that they were giving out plaques all the way up to 5th. But then you see that all 5 of those lifters fucking hit
Qualified for
national
nationals.
qualifying
Yeah.
totals.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Traditionally, especially around here, you qualify for nationals, which people will say that it's not an impressive total, but
Yeah.
just to even use it as a benchmark, you qualify for nationals. That usually means like you're first, if not first, second. And so the
Yeah.
fact that Corey could qualify for nationals and be fourth or
Fifth?
fifth or
Yeah,
whatever it
fifth.
was, like
He was fifth,
that
yeah.
shows like how deep it actually was for
Yeah,
this stuff.
and so I'm pretty sure all 3 183 guys qualified. 5 guys in 205, at least 5. I don't know, maybe the 6th. No, he would have tied because Corey made the minimum. So
Yeah.
so 5 guys in 205. In the 231, I'm pretty sure 3 of them
That's what I would assume is
qualified. So between those 3 weight classes, there was 11 guys that qualified for nationals. So that's a tough competition.
Yeah.
You know, like receiving one of those awards, especially in those weight classes, means something to be able to total high enough to get in there with that many guys. So that's really, from a spectator, that makes a meet really fun to watch. Where it's like, well, there's not just one guy crushing everyone else.
Well, and with this meet too, there wasn't a lot of, I would say, like really, really transcendent, like next level, huge heavy totals. There was some
Right.
heavy lifts.
Yeah.
Big deadlifts.
What's the Hansen kid?
Alex
What's his name?
Hansen, from
Alex Hansen from
lifts out of
Jackals.
too.
Jesus Christ!
He-
and he come down 20 pounds. He's down a weight class.
He
in that
oftentimes
division.
lifts in the 205, and he came into the 183, and he missed his 3rd deadlift, which would have been, I think it was 633 or 639.
638.
Yeah,
something
something like that. But he pulled 628.
Yeah,
second attempt, and
628.
it didn't look overly hard.
No, that at 183 is. I don't understand how he weighs 183. Like, he doesn't look huge, but he looks bigger than 180. 183.
Yeah. He also doesn't look like a person. I was talking about this with somebody. I was like, he's just like, that is such a strong deadlift. Not saying that he looks like he's weak or anything like that, but to just like stumble into somebody and be like, hey, let's have a deadlift competition for the titles to our cars or something. I'd be like, all right, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And he would fucking smash me. Like, fucking smash me. He is such a, he's not like he's weak at his other lifts either. I mean,
No, he's a strong
really
squatter
strong
and a
squatter.
moderate bencher.
yeah, I mean,
but kills it on deadlift, obviously.
yeah, I mean, he is a fucking hell of a lifter for sure.
And the guy that won the 205 weight class also, he pulled 638, 639 on it, and that's a pretty impressive
big
lift
lift,
there
yeah.
too. That's
for sure.
That's pretty big time. Deadlifting, I think, was some of those deadlifts were kind of the most impressive.
I think
there's one bencher. He benched 190 on his 3rd. He was in Ryan's weight. I'm pretty sure it's the guy that
190 kilos.
190 kilos.
Yeah.
It's like 420 pounds or
Yeah,
whatever.
and moved it like it wasn't.
Yeah,
even-
like I was over there, hanging out right up close to the table like I always was, and he came over before his 3rd, and after he picked it, I asked him what he took because I saw how easily a second lift went, and I think
like
it was
407.
Yeah, and I was
that.
like, whoa, like it looked faster than an opener should. And I said, I asked what he was going to do, and I said, you need to go for 200 kilos for sure, which is 440.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going 190. And the way 190 moved, he should have definitely gone for 440.
And this isn't to call the guy out because
No.
it was good and he was really,
it was
really,
awesome.
really strong.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
yeah.
But he got done with that. I want to say it was 190. I don't know, whatever that is.
I think 420-ish.
420 something. And he
418.
He gets done with that, and as soon as he's done, Gino's like, lift is good.
Yeah.
He needs to put some weight on that bar.
Yeah.
And that was the heaviest bench by quite a bit for the day.
I don't know if there's many over 4.
I don't know. I
don't know if there
think
was any.
No,
other
he
than-
was. I think the only person who lifted over 400. I think he had all 3 of his
Yeah,
lifts were
he
over
did.
400. He was miles of better bencher than everybody else there. That was pretty impressive. But yeah, you know it looked easy when Gino's announcing like better put some weight on that bar
On your third
next time you're
attempt.
here. Yeah.
You know, that's a good feeling though. Still, same way. Like I talked to him afterwards, and I was like, "Man, you should have went 200 kilos on that." He's like, "Yeah, that was still a PR for me and everything." It's like, you don't like hitting a PR and having it feel good. You're not like you're winning, not losing.
That's a win-win.
Yeah,
That's one of the things I've seen. Quite a few people have that as a philosophy. Is like if you get a PR, you take it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like even if you get a 5-pound PR and you think you've got 5 or 10 more in you, just don't do it.
Right. Save it for another.
Take that because if you have it in you, then you can enjoy that again in a few months.
Yeah.
And
the,
then
the psychological aspect of that.
As long as it's moving forward, you're still winning the game. And but all in all, it was a really good meet. We what do you guys do for food? Because I was fucking starving.
Well,
and I could leave to eat.
We bought some stuff. We packed a light lunch. Leah whipped some sandwiches together for us. We had a cooler with sandwiches. We had some Cliff
Sandwiches
bars.
on hamburger buns.
Yes, the classic,
The
the
classic.
go-to. So that's what we did. Other people like Larry were less prepared and just asked everyone else for food until they gave it to him. So
Corey said the same thing. I said, Corey, what have you guys been eating all day? Because I got to get the fuck out of here and eat. And he goes, I've just been eating Grayson's rice cakes all day.
and then I think Ryan's like, oh, well, I have Rice Krispie bars if you don't want a rice cake. And then he gave him a rice. And I think it's just a rice cake with more sugar in it. Like, you didn't really do anything different there. But yeah, that's what it was, just packing
Your
a lunch.
timing worked all right to get breakfast safely and get back? Or was it tight?
No, it wasn't tight at all.
Okay.
It was, we weighed in, got our equipment checked. Went
That's
back.
right. You had to weigh in that morning.
Yeah, and our hotel was, by the time you got to your car, it was a 30-second drive. So we got to our hotel, the continental breakfast right there, ate a little bit of food, but at that point you're just so amped up, it's hard to eat, you know. So we ate a little bit and then went back to the venue.
So you're probably set up pretty good to total over 1,400 pounds next year then.
Yeah, you know, so looking back,
Let's go back. What was your total now?
so I did 1367, which
Well, yeah. I mean, if your bench goes, let's just figuratively
10 more
speak.
pounds,
Let's
maybe
say you had
1377,
you had what your bench maybe you thought you could get if things go as well as they could have. You're
1375, 1380.
Yeah,
and even
you're
how
really
like my
close.
squat. So I squatted. I guess I don't even know if we said my numbers, but
501.
squatted 501, bench 319, and deadlifted
45,
545,
446 or whatever.
and so the squat that was a PR,
all-time PR.
all-time
anywhere.
PR. Yeah, I've had a rep in the gym of 495. Orion may or may not have touched me, so I never really wanted to count that. So the official clean rep I had previously was 485. So depending on where that's at, you know, it's anywhere from a 5 to 15 pound PR, and then deadlift that 545 was a 10-pound PR, and I think that squat was getting probably pretty close to the limit. That deadlift, the way it felt and the way it looked, I still feel like maybe there was a little more there. I don't know, but yeah, looking at last year compared to this year, that was like I put like 167 pounds on my total. So if I just do that like 4 or 5 more years in a row, I'll be setting world records in no time, because I think that's how it works.
I mean, for sure before you
It's
turn
just
30.
completely linear. Like there's no.
I would say that though that speaks a little bit to like how well everyone did and the improvements is the effectiveness of submaximal training and percentage-based training, and not necessarily testing
And
your one rep max
maxing out all the
ever
time.
almost.
Yeah.
And that works because when you go to like with just a little bit of slight peaking for it, when you get to the meet, the numbers are there.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to worry if for weeks you're
Yeah,
not
about like
hitting
if you're losing strength, or like there was never a doubt in my mind like, oh, like I hit 535 on deadlift a couple weeks ago, like maybe that's just completely gone. Like you feel pretty confident it's there. It's more like is the PR going to be there or not?
right.
So yeah, it felt really, really good, and to see that progression of, because I think the year before that was from my first meet to my second meet, I want to say I put like 70 pounds on my total. And
Because you were probably like an 1130.
it was like 1130. My second meet was like right at 1200 or
Yeah.
1199. So then to have this big jump, all you can say is the Massenomics effect. That's
Hashtag
that's the full. That's a
Massenomics.
full year of Massenomics training right there.
Well, because
so,
the year before you only had,
what do we have? 3 months maybe.
so you made like a 70-pound.
Yeah, it was in those 3
improvement.
months. You know.
And then
Yeah, which is
got a-
solid for 3 months.
Yeah, but then so with a full 12 months.
Yeah. Yeah,
we
you
are.
get to take all those games.
What was Ryan's total improvement?
So he pretty close to 100 on the deadlift, and I would guess on squat he probably had about 70-ish.
Yeah.
And I don't know if his bench really changed.
It was
much
up a
at
little
all.
bit.
So yeah,
About 15 pounds.
yeah. So he was probably.
I think he was 170 pounds.
Yeah,
or
he was probably right in that
175
170 area
pounds.
too.
I think he
forwards.
totaled 1340 or right
Just
around
pretty
there.
reasonable to expect that same rate of improvement
Forever.
Yeah, I think
in
it just keeps going
perpetuity,
like that
right?
nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say in what are we looking at? So in 10 years, you guys will be totaling 3,200 pounds.
Yeah,
like,
roughly. If
at
the
least,
math, if the
at
math
least,
works
yeah.
out.
Drug free in the USAPL. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely.
I would for sure
Sky's
think
the
so.
limit. Yeah. Road to 1,800 total.
By the time you guys turn 50, you guys will be totaling 7,000 pounds.
A lot of the, like, to speak to the competition level, like a lot of the state South Dakota records raw were broken. I'm sure, like, I haven't really looked in how many, but like a majority of them got broken in the open raw. So that's a pretty good meet, like, for most of the records to get set on one day.
For sure.
You know, it kind of, there's definitely some good lifters there.
Yeah. And on top of that, the records were, what are they?
Yeah, they're
3 years
they're
old,
not
but
that old
the weight
anyways,
class
but
has
yeah,
changed. So
right.
yeah, it was time for him to get cycled through.
Yeah.
And Larry's total, where does that rest in as far as like a raw total for him?
That would be his best USAPL, not in wraps, in knee sleeves. That would be his
obviously.
best. That would be his
But
best.
I mean, like his squat, what did he squat?
551.
551.
Yeah.
And in wraps, he hit 589, something like that.
No, 570.
570 something.
6 or
So,
3
like-
or whatever that is. Yeah.
So as far as a squat relative to what is,
That's the biggest
that's
squat
a-
he's ever
that's a
hit in
big
sleeves.
deal. Yeah,
like,
that's a really
he's
big deal.
been, flirted with that area before, but he's never, like, actually completed the lift at that
Yeah.
before. So that's the most he's ever squatted in sleeves.
Yeah.
You know,
At 40 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the key there with that's why Larry is the legend.
yeah.
Is that he's at 40, which isn't like it's not an advanced age, Larry.
Yeah.
But like at 40 to still be stronger than you ever have been.
Yeah, and Larry will get the mentality sometimes. He's like, I don't feel like I'm doing that well or not really lifting that strong, and then he always goes out
Yeah.
there and like does something better than he's ever done before. It's just like he never stops.
I think
doing that.
everybody put together a really big day. Big Jake had a big day. Grayson
Yeah.
had a really big day.
Corey had a good day.
Corey's day was just like fucking the
Yeah.
way Corey lifts.
He was
It was
really
just, it
happy
was
with
just
that,
perfect.
for sure. Yeah.
Everything he came in looked good. Everything, it was just a really good day for Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Both DeFay brothers combined for, about a 370-pound improvement over the course
Yeah.
of a year.
Yeah.
But Larry's day, I think, was probably the most impressive thing to me because
Mm-hmm.
he came out and just fucking hammered it, and still with the bench maybe not going the way he wanted it to go, still put together a really solid total.
Yeah. And with his actual body weight and everything, his Wilks score would probably be pretty high too. Like it would be a pretty. I don't know what it is, but it would be a very solid Wilks score.
Yeah.
Because he's in the 231, but he really only weighs like.
I think what he weighed in
Let's do this.
he gave
Let's
up.
fucking do this. What was Larry's total?
I think 1455. That's real close within. And the best overall, Alex Hansen in the 183. I do want to know it. I wish I remembered his numbers because his Wilks had to have been high.
Yeah.
You would
What
think.
was Larry's body weight?
I think he weighed in at like 215.
Yeah, it's got to be close.
It was
to that.
right in there.
Yeah,
And total body weight or total weight lifted was 1455.
55. I think it's got to
Puts
be
Larry's Wilks score at 405.82.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah, to break 400 is pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's why he's a legend.
That's right.
Yep.
Larry fear the legend hashtag. How about Gino though too? Shouting out about Massenomics so much.
Yeah, so
That was awesome.
He gave lots of love.
I-
But
now-
there's a lot of people to give the love back to him there.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's why it was working too, because he was getting some good feedback out of that.
when you're
so-
at a crowd that can kind of get subdued after some time,
Mm-hmm.
when you say some shit and you get 20 people like "fuck yeah," like it's pretty easy to keep feeding that bear.
yeah.
But yeah, so Gino kept. I'm at a point now where I'm trying to go through like with what we've done with some other podcast stuff, and then some of our interviews that we did at the Arnold. Between Gino shouting out to us at the end of his Arnold interview, between we have a video of him looking directly at the camera for me, and one directly at the camera
lift is
for Nick,
good.
where he's like, Massenomics is in the house.
Yeah.
All of those things where I think we got to revamp our podcast intro. We'll probably cut the audio directly into the audio intro of us, and then we probably better also overlay some of that video. Because we got Jesse Burdick talking about Massenomics. We have Bill Kazmaier's rant about Massenomics.
Donnie Thompson.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten to really talk about all the people that
I know. We're going to do that next week.
Next
this was really topical. We want to get this out while it's fresh. So, but I think that's going to do it today. Do we have anything else we want to get out today?
People need to give us reviews. I mean, I know we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to check
so
as you're...
Tanner's going to look it up as I'm going to talk about this, okay? You're still listening to this podcast, listening or watching. I fucking know you haven't left an iTunes review because we looked them up and you haven't fucking left an iTunes review. So it's not that hard. Like, we're not asking you to go take out a loan. We're not even asking you to send any money.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah. And if you want to spend money, you can certainly send us money. Hit us up at getbig@massenomics.com.
Slightly above the most basic of computer skills. It's
slightly above. It is not like really rudimentary.
It's not the easiest, but you could say you've done it after this.
It takes some doing, but it's easier than like setting up a troll Instagram account, for sure.
Yeah.
Like a duplicate blocked Instagram account so you can talk shit to celebrities, which we know half of you do. What do you got, Tanner?
There is one.
There's just one, though?
Yeah.
Okay,
but
so the
I
rest
had checked like a couple days ago, and there wasn't one at all. So I was
before we go into this, though, we're going to read this review, and we're going to read all the reviews. We haven't actually touched any of these in like a month. So the fact that there's only one of you that has gone, and we've been asking for every episode, and you haven't done it yet, get your shit together and leave us a review, please. Just leave it 5 stars and talk about how terrible we are. But just make sure it's 5 stars.
Yeah. That's all that actually matters.
That's all that actually matters, as far as I'm concerned. So, Tanner, let's see what we got here.
Okay. Title: Great podcast. So far, so good. I agree with all that.
Right in my wheelhouse.
Then this was March 24th, so just a couple days ago, right in time here. Excellent podcast for any level of exercise experience. The guys do a great job of keeping it funny and entertaining from beginning to end. 5 out of 5 stars.
That's good.
Cool.
Now,
Name just a bunch of letters. ALKGSTJB. bunch of consonants. Can't even formulate a pronunciation of it.
And the other thing that we want to bring up too is that we also know for sure that both my mother and Tanner's mother have listened to every single episode. And not a single one of them has even left an iTunes review.
Maybe that's them.
Which means that,
unless your mom goes by ALKSTFGB.
Not that I know of.
She could have a whole online persona that you don't know about, though, Tyler.
I don't want to know about the rest of my mother's online personas, but I want my mother to leave me a fucking iTunes review. Give me a little bit of validation, please. And also,
never told me I was good at anything.
Never. And also send money. So I think that'll do it for us today, though, guys. But for real, leave us an iTunes review. You guys are really fucking up there.
And tell your friends about the podcast.
And maybe tell your friends to also leave iTunes reviews.
Yeah.
They don't even have to listen to it.
No, just give us reviews.
We'd maybe prefer that they don't listen to it if your friends suck. But go to Massenomics.com. There's all our articles, videos. There you're going to find our store with all the cool stuff, including the lift shirt, still the new hotness, the newest and most hotness.
Oh, yeah.
All of that is available at the store, amongst many other things. If you want to support the podcast, we actually do spend an awful lot of time and money doing this. Between traveling, going to the Arnold. We'll get into all those details later, but we had a lot of fun.
Watch those Arnold videos if you haven't watched them.
Sure. Go to YouTube.
That's the coolest thing we've probably done,
It's
all those
definitely-
videos.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely up there.
Yeah.
like, it is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're really good, and the quality is top notch.
And it's also embarrassing how few people have watched them. We're looking at them, and there's like 40 people have watched these videos.
Those are worthy of thousands of people. Like, seriously, you will watch them and be like, I'm glad I watched these. That was time
For
well spent.
sure.
Like, that made me laugh. And
not
like,
to mention the fact that I would say between all of us that went to go make that happen, not even including the time that we put into it, that probably cost a total of $10,000. You know what I mean?
It did. Like
just
start adding everything.
And I
up,
think
yeah.
if we've combined for a total of like 300 YouTube views. So we're either really making shit financial decisions or we're just making some really awesome content that y'all sons of bitches are not watching. So I know more of you are watching the podcast than have watched those YouTube videos. So youtube.com/Massenomics. There's a shit ton of stuff out there from the Arnold that you really need to check out. Facebook, Massenomics on Facebook. Make sure you like the page. That's pretty much probably like our most, that and Instagram. Probably, but the Facebook is where you're going to see new article
the real
drops. Like that's where it's
yeah.
all going to get, everything gets linked through there. So make sure you hit that up on Facebook. I'm Tyler. You can find me on Instagram at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone. Tommy?
You can find me on Instagram at Tomahawk_D.
The official Massenomics Instagram account
At
Massenomics
Massenomics.
on Instagram.
So thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Stay strong. You guys aren't saying anything at the end of this one?
Goodbye.
Bye.
And that's the rest of the story. Paul Harvey.
That's the way the news goes.
And that's the way I heard it.
Grass.
Anyways, that's the way I heard it.
Grass is bad.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.